Well, what's up, there, guys? Brian here, the three topics game here to share with you another one of my ranking videos. This one being a little unusual in terms of the standard type of content that I upload for my channel. But this time I'll be doing a tier list style ranking of a lot of the 90s or early Nickelodeon television shows that I enjoyed growing up. As someone who grew up in the 90s, I would say we probably had the best decade in terms of content that was available to us amongst, all the different television channels. And I definitely think out of all of them, Nickelodeon definitely had the most amount of not only quantity but quality content, and I just thought it would be nice if I did just a tier list style ranking of all the shows that I enjoyed growing up. So if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep tracking me on my future videos. And remember, if you guys have any ideas for any rankings or reviews or discussions or just anything in general, please let me know what you would like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up to you as soon as I can. So I just want you to know that I have tried to film this like 2 other times, so to save time, I decided that I was just gonna knock out all the shows that I know I didn't watch or was just not a fan of, or just don't really remember. Those things like You Can't Do That, Danger Mouse, Count Duckula, which I do not remember that at all, or Hey Dude, Fabulous, or Cat Scratcher, or The X's, like shows like that. I don't remember watching it. So a lot of these had to have either been slightly below I could remember watching television, or definitely in the early to late 2000s, because some of these they're damn sure not for me. So I have my rankings set in 4 different categories, from shows that I love, shows I thought were great, some that I thought were just okay, and then shows I just flat out was not a fan of. So we're just gonna go left to right in order of what we have here and start. So starting off with the Fairly Odd Parents. I think it had its moments. I just wasn't the biggest fan of it. It was okay. I mean, I think they tried to reboot it a little bit, and I just, by that point I was just not for it. Rugrats, absolutely love Rugrats. Well, easily one of the most iconic shows for Nickelodeon, and it had 2 successful films. A lot of people don't remember that. The thing about Nickelodeon, much like Disney, is that a lot of these cartoons were actually given theatrical films, and I think for the most part a lot of them really do work, and I would still watch them to this day. Next, oh god, Kenan and Kel. Oh my god, I love this. Me and my brother would watch this all the time. I do feel a little ways about some of the live action Nickelodeon content with, modern eyes and kind of knowing what was kind of going on behind the scenes. But I don't think I should let that hurt my memories and passion and love that I have for a lot of these shows. So I just want to kind of get that out of the way. So next we have Invader vs. Sim. I wasn't really a big fan of Invaders, and to be fair, I mean, it was an okay premise of like a alien who tried to hide in that he was like a kid, and there was like this one scientist dude that was trying to expose him. I just never got too into it. Animaniacs, great show. But I always thought that was unusual thinking back at it now, because Animaniacs is WB. What would WB be doing on Nickelodeon? That was always a little bit odd. Next we have Chalk Zone. I was not a fan of Chalk Zone. This was a later show, and basically did with this kid that I'm assuming could make things by writing chalk. So he had like magical chalk. So there's that. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is definitely one of the most recognizable Nickelodeon shows. It's still running, I believe, to this day. I've not watched any new SpongeBob, but I was definitely watching a lot of late 90s SpongeBob, early 2000s. I think for me personally, that's really when SpongeBob was at its best. And I'm not sure if they're doing like another film, but I did like the first one that they did. Jimmy Neutron, it had its moments. It kind of fits in the same department as Fairly Odd Parents, but I do think it was a little bit better. I do think it was funny how they did a crossover between these two. That was a very creative idea. And I think Jimmy Neutron's movie was okay for the most part. Next is All Grown Up. Did not like this show at all. Flat out, was not a fan of All Grown Up. I love Nick Rugrats, but like there's certain characters that I don't want to see grown up. Like I want to keep them as a baby, and that's the thing for me. I love Rugrats. Was not a fan of All Grown Up. I know some people did, but it just flat was not for me. My Life as a Teenage Robot. what a weird premise, and one that I was not a fan of, even back then. So there's that. Drake and Josh. This is kind of... Yeah, this one is even more controversial, but it kind of fits in the... I thought it was a great show. It probably would be in the love department, but that's Keaton and Kel spot. So Drake, I cannot take Drake and Josh over Keaton and Kel. But still, fun show to watch. Danny Phantom, it was okay. And had its moments, but wasn't big. But oh my God, Doug. Doug's one of the GOAT franchises. One of the big three. There are 3 big cartoons for Nickelodeon that are just iconic, and Doug is absolutely one of them. Doug Funny, which I thought was interesting because it was kind of similar to my last name, Brian Finney, so both our names had like funny F last names. Patty Mayonnaise, the girl he had a crush on, his best friend Skeeter. Just Doug going on these crazy adventures. But yeah, it was an awesome show. Zoe 101. This one, I feel embarrassed to say that I actually watched this and I actually liked it. And I feel weird about it because I'm like, I was a boy watching this show and it felt weird. I would never admit that I watched it back then, but I was like, I don't know how this worked for me back then. And even now it's confusing. Like, I'm not sure I would watch it now, but I do remember watching this a lot back then, and I don't know why. There's just something about it that made me gravitate towards it, and I feel weird about it. Now, this one's going to shock a lot of people, and it's going to have to go to Avatar. I'm going to be honest, I've maybe seen less than 5 episodes of Avatar. It's one of those shows that I think that if I sit down and watch it with someone, I'll enjoy it more. And I think it would be higher. But as someone who did not like the live-action movie, didn't care much for the live-action Netflix series, and has only seen like maybe 5 episodes of this, it's just something I feel like I need to watch this with a friend who is a fan for me to get really invested into it. So that's just how I feel about it. Nickelodeon Arcade. Oh my God, this is great. Big into video games in the 90s. I would have loved to have gone on this show. I think I would have done pretty well. And it was a team thing, so me and my brother would have done well on this. Another show oh my God, me and my brother would have killed. We would have killed in Legend of the Temple. I mean, he was a natural athlete. His athletic ability, my brains, we would have easily gotten through the moat. We would have gotten through the steps of knowledge. I would have followed his athletic lead. We would have won. We would have gone into Olmec's temple, and we would have had a game plan. We would have won. We would have gone to space camp, and we would have had a great time, possibly. Although, to be fair, they did manipulate some of the temples because they couldn't have too many kids winning. So that was something. And my God, those temple guards were scary. But yeah, oh my God, we would have killed. And oh, Guts! I am so jealous I was not living in Orlando. I would have done so well in Guts, and I think my brother would have done well in Guts too. I would have loved to have competed against him. I would have loved to have gone up the aggro crag. I am still trying to see if I can find a piece of the aggro crag on eBay. I've only seen one piece of the aggro crag, of any of the crags, and that's on the Pat McAfee show. I really want to get a replica of that. But apparently even people who won those aren't selling those. But I absolutely love Guts. And oh dear, ooh, we got the GOAT. By far, Rocko's Modern Life, another one of the big 3, but that is without question my favorite show on Nickelodeon of all time, and probably my favorite cartoon of all time. I want to know if I can get this on Blu-ray. There's just so many aspects of the show that absolutely work. The craziness, the weirdness, the visuals. I mean, you had Rocko, you had Heifer, you had Filbert, you had Mr. and Mrs. Big Head. I mean, there's so many iconic characters, so many awesome episodes that I know so well. I know the lines and could recite them at the drop of a hat. I love this show. I was obsessed. Rocko's Modern Life, easily GOAT of Nickelodeon shows. Cat Dog. Cat Dog had its moments. It was okay. It was Ohio, okay. Interesting premise. Cool, funny intro. Next, we have Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain was great. Iconic show. Very, very fun. Love the finale. Great intro song. Sticks with you to this day. Yeah. Next, we have the Wild Thornberrys. This is going to be weird, but I really was not a fan of this. Now, this is what's weird. I know what the show was about, but I literally cannot remember any of the characters by name. It was a okay show, but if I can't remember any of the characters' names, that's not a good sign. So that's why I feel like I have to put it there. Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy, great show, but I would not put it over Pinky and the Brain. And there's like a couple of shows, like there's like Beetlejuice, I would thought was a great show, and like Are You Afraid of the Dark, and what else? Real Monsters, like those kind of shows. Those were all great shows. All that. Another show I loved, despite its controversy and what was going on behind the scenes. But this was pretty much Saturday nights for kids, and it's still great. Clarissa Explains All. It was okay. Again, it was about a teenage girl just going through teenage girl stuff, as far as I can remember. I think Melissa Joan. I mean, it's okay. Hey Arnold is the final member of the Holy Trinity. But I will say this. Out of the top three, I think Hey Arnold probably had the best storytelling. And I love how it concluded. And there's a lot of these shows that just kept on going and they just stopped. Hey Arnold, I believe, is the only one that had like a key story plot that ran throughout the entire show and was concluded in the final movie. And I love that it did that. So, that's how I would rank the big three of Rocko, Hey Arnold, and Doug. Those are really the GOAT franchises, GOAT cartoons of Nickelodeon. Rocket Power, I wasn't that big into Rocket Power. It was a little sportsy for me, and I wasn't really too into sports back then. Double Dare, great show. I would have loved to have gone on this with my family. It would have been a fun time. It would have gotten very, very messy had we got into the obstacle course at the end, and we would have won all kinds of crazy prizes. So yeah. Looney Tunes, you can't really complain about Looney Tunes. I mean, Looney Tunes is generational. You could be an adult, teenager, kid, and still enjoy it. I mean, I easily watch with my parents, and I could easily watch a lot of those old Looney Tunes cartoons and still enjoy them now as an adult. Next, As Told by Ginger. Not really a fan. This wasn't really for me. It kind of fits in the same categories like Clarissa Explains All, where it's about a girl being a teenage girl. And I'm a boy, so I can't really relate much to what the show was trying to go through. Next is Kablam. Kablam is a mixed bag for me because there are some sketches that really work for me, like Action League Now. Like that's a great one, which was like pretty much a stop motion show. And there's like this one other show about this alien and this like caveman. They went all these kinds of crazy adventures, and they kind of presented like it was like found footage, and I thought that was great. But there were also some other sketches that I just don't remember all that well. That's why it was kind of a hit and miss for me. But it still had its moments. The next is the Amanda Show. And it was okay. I mean, I wasn't really the biggest fan of Amanda Bynes back then, and I think she's gone kind of crazy now. So there's that. And I think last we have Angry Beavers. I would put Angry Beavers kind of like around here. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't a show that I felt like I had to come and watch all the time. So, yeah. So, that is my tier list ranking of the vast majority of Nickelodeon shows. Now, heck, if you want to give it a shot of ranking all these Nickelodeon shows, if you did happen to grow up in the 90s, early 2000s, give it a go and tell me your thoughts on my list. And if there's something that you know is Nickelodeon show that isn't here and you would like to know my ranking, I'll be sure to tell you in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.